We're the streaming idiots, having the time. With Tom Sinclair guiding, we're feeling so fine. A vMix on the screen, we're ready to play. Custom-built PCs, taking tech to the fray. Making live production feel like a breeze. Got the rhythm pumping, we do it with ease. From setups to transitions, we're flying high. In the world of streaming, we're touching the sky. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream. With tech support in the mix, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's a man, bringing us live in our biggest adventure. The future is bright. Lights, camera, action, the stage is set. From podcasts to webinars, we're never upset. Tech at our fingertips, the power so real. Loading up the content, let the viewers feel. Building connections, we're breaking the mold. Every frame a story, every tale told. In this vibrant world, we're living with flair. Streaming idiots unite, let's take it from there. Streaming idiots, streaming idiots. We're living the dream, living the dream. We take support in the mix. Oh, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's a man, bringing us live in our biggest adventure. The future is bright. We got tips and tricks all wrapped in a show. In our extra fun, let the good times flow. From sports to the arts, we're taking the lead. With vMix by our side, there's nothing we need. Troubleshooting smoothly, no hassle or fuss. In the world of tech, we're igniting the buzz. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream. With support in the mix, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's a man, bringing us live in our biggest adventure. The future is bright. So here's to the journey. Let's raise a toast for Tom Sinclair and the team we love most. Streaming idiots, forever we're ruling the scene. With vMix and support, we're living the dream. We're the streaming idiots, having the time. With Tom Sinclair guiding, we're feeling so fine. A vMix on the screen, we're ready to play. Custom-built PCs, taking tech to the fray. Making live production feel like a breeze. Got the rhythm pumping, we do it with ease. From setups to transitions, we're flying high. In the world of streaming, we're touching the sky. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream. With tech support in the mix, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's a man, bringing us live in our biggest adventure. The future is bright. Lights, camera, action, the stage is set. From podcasts to webinars, we're never upset. Tech at our fingertips, the power so real. Loading up the content, let the viewers feel. Building connections, we're breaking the mold. Every frame a story, every tale told. In this vibrant world, we're living with flair. Streaming idiots unite, let's take it from there. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream, living the dream. We take support in the mix. Oh, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's a man, bringing us live in our biggest adventure. The future is bright. We got tips and tricks all wrapped in a show. In our extra fun, let the good times flow. From sports to the arts, we're taking the lead. With vMix by our side, there's nothing we need. Troubleshooting smoothly, no hassle or fuss. In the world of tech, we're igniting the buzz. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream. With support in the mix, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's a man, bringing us live in our biggest adventure. The future is bright. So here's to the journey. Let's raise a toast for Tom Sinclair and the team we love most. Streaming idiots, forever we're We're the streaming idiots, having the time. With Tom Sinclair guiding, we're feeling so fine. A vMix on the screen, we're ready to play. Custom built PCs, taking tech to the fray. Making live production feel like a breeze. Got the rhythm pumping, we do it with ease. From setups to transitions, we're flying high. In the world of streaming, we're touching the sky.
Checking, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Is this thing on? I hope it's on. Holy cow. Gunner's here. Checking the checklist. Testing, testing, testing. Yes. Audio is a concern. It was definitely a concern last week. It's less of a concern this week. In fact, it probably didn't need to be a concern this last week, but I freaked out. Tim hears me. Thank you, Tim. How is the audio? Is it good? Is it too low? Is it too high? Do you hear the air conditioners in the background? I do. And I have zero. I'm using a noise filter from Waves Audio, and it's set to 0. So I want to play with that a little bit as we go on. I'm not sure which air conditioner's running, but there are 2 of them right outside the window. Thank you, Gunner. And Scott says no AC. Huh. Well, I can hear it as plain as day. Let me just be quiet for a second. I don't see anything on the audio meter. Let me make sure I turned it down. Yeah, let's see. Did I turn it down? It is a plug-in, and it is all the way down at 0, so it's not doing anything. Interesting. Well, maybe there are 2 ACs, one there and one there, right outside. There's a window right over here, and they're right outside the window. So we'll just see. Yeah, funny. I don't have a noise gate on. I don't think. Let me just double check. Noise gate. Nope, no noise gate. No noise gate. Sounds good, just a little almost hollow. Aha! Yes, I agree. I can hear that. I can hear it. I can hear that empty room echo. That's what I call it. I've got to get some stuff on the walls. I've got carpet here. I've got nothing on this wall, as you can see, so that may be where some of it's coming from. I've got nothing on this wall. That wall, a little bit of stuff. I've got a big bookshelf there, which helps diffuse some of the sound. A door to a closet, or 2 doors to a closet there. And then a bunch of junk that I have to be putting away. And if the junk were actually higher, that would probably help. Hello, Clint. Good to see you. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. And Scott says, is that a PV bass? It is. It is a PV bass. It belongs to my middle son, Jordan, who he's still a musician, but he was a busker for a while, and he played gigs at bars and restaurants, and was really, really good, very talented kid. And he loaned this to me for a while so that I could learn how to play it, which, you know, I'm doing every now and then, but not enough skill. Although he tells a funny story about learning to play the basses. The guy signed up for bass lessons, and he came to his first lesson and did okay. Came to his second lesson and did okay. And then he skipped his third lesson. And when he showed up for his fourth lesson, the teacher was like, you know, where were you on your third lesson? He said, oh, I had a gig. I was like, okay, so maybe the bass is easy enough for me to pick up on. That's what I need. That's what I need. So run your scales. They're boring, but help later. Well, Scott, I probably have to start even more basic than that. I used to play some guitar, so I'm familiar with the keyboard, the fretboard, but I don't know the notes. So that's what I'm gonna have to learn. But you're right. You're right. We'll see. We'll see. You know, it's all about time. Yeah, it's prioritizing time, time and more time. All right. Well, let's get this show on the road, shall we? We've got an intro here that we can make work, and yeah, let's do that. Yeah, baby. All right. So we are back in the we are back. We are back in the studio. We're back in the studio. This is Streaming Idiots. This was the birthplace of Streaming Idiots. 2012. 2012, the birthplace of Streaming Idiots. So this is 13 years. In fact, next month, July 12th, I think, is the anniversary. I'll have to double check. Anyway, it's the very first YouTube video that's up there. Well, I'll have to go back and search. But this is where it all started. This is a spare bedroom in my house with, as Tim says, kind of a hollow sound because I haven't put any kind of sound treatments up. The old studio, this is the old studio, and I was here for probably 6 years, and then moved into the remote studio away from home so that I had space to build enough PCs, and was there 8 years until last month. And so that was a good run. I enjoyed that a lot. But they raised my rent way out of sight. And I was like, nah, we'll have to make a change. So I'm back to the house. Interesting thing, the remote studio was in an office building, or not an office building. It was a storage. You have these storage units where you are, you know, with the roll-up doors and all that. And this was in one of those, except they had 5 offices in the front, about 800 square feet. And I was loving it. And the rent just kept going up and up and up and up and up. And I would, you know, kind of steel myself to be able to pay it every month. And finally decided it's just too much trouble. So as you know from last week's episode, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, anyway, I rented a storage unit, a climate-controlled storage unit, and put all the PC building stuff in there. So I go out and hang out there and build PCs, and it's air-conditioned and it's heated. It's not as cool as I would keep it at home, but it's close enough. And it makes a great place to build PCs. No internet there at all. And the internet at my studio, we're going to call this the office, and the storage unit is the workshop, and the studio was the old place that I just moved from. And in that studio, the internet was just, I won't say it was abysmal, but it was just not, it was not good. I mean, it was AT&T, probably Uverse. Yeah, it had a little green cable coming in, which was a telephone wire, a little 4-pin. And it, twisted pair, that's right. And it was 100 down, and I think 20 up. 100 down, 20 up. And here, I've got a graphic that I brought in just for you guys. Here, this is what we've got. 250 down and 264, call it 265 up. So, yeah. So I'm not complaining about that. Now there was a little anomaly at the very beginning of this broadcast because somehow it picked up the broadcast that I tried to do last week and hook up from my phone, but I could never get it hooked up, so it just assumed that I wanted this one. And anyway, so I had to go in and delete it, take it out, and put this one back in. So now we're here, and that was just one of those kind of getting over the hump kind of problems. But the internet, shoot, I'm going to be able to stream to 5 different destinations if I wanted to. Might play with that a little bit just for the fun of it. But the audio and the lighting are the next issues. Hold on a second here. Let's see. But before we got into that, did you notice in the scroll? Let me put the scroll back up. There we go. In the scroll, vMix released a new, what I call a dot release, .48. It's new. It was released yesterday, and it only has 2 things in it. And it fixes something with OMT on a less than a gigabit network. But the interesting thing is it added initial support. I'm reading this off the screen. Added initial support for a Windows 11 Smart App Control to allow vMix to run when enabled. Well, what does that mean? Well, Smart App Control I had to look it up because I didn't know. Smart App Control is a robust Windows 11 security feature that acts as an intelligent gatekeeper, blocking untrusted, unsigned, or potentially dangerous applications. Oh my gosh. And apparently, if you're a software developer, you have to register or something with Microsoft to get your Smart App Control. What do they call it? Let's see what they call it here. Yeah, it'll roll back around in just a second. But it's something. When you attempt to run an executable file, Smart App Control evaluates its trustworthiness using 3 main criteria. So it's a digital signal, cloud intelligence, and an unsigned app. So anyway, what I see it's bureaucracy in Microsoft. We're trying to CYA, that is their A, not necessarily your A, and making things more difficult for you and for vMix because of some bad players out there. So everybody else has to be inconvenienced because of these bad players. I don't like bad players. Don't like bad players. Don't want to be a bad player, but yeah, don't like bad players. So anyway, Microsoft has got the Smart App Control stuff taken care of. If that was a concern for you in the past, update to .48. You can get it at vmix.com. Just click the trial and follow the trial and download it. I've talked to a rash of people in the last month or 6 weeks that have had problems with vMix, or let me say problems with vMix. And the majority of them, I'll give them a couple of suggestions of what to do. Some of these are old clients. Some of these are people that just see me on the vMix website and call me as a tech support person. Most of them take my suggestions, and that's the last I ever hear from them. And the conversation might start out, Tom, we've been having this problem for a while. We are having this camera problem. We're having this audio problem. We're having this mic problem. We're having this streaming problem. We're having this problem. In fact, our problems have problems. And it's been going on for a while. And my first question is, why has it been going on for a while? Why don't you fix it? Why don't you track it down and fix it? And a lot of these folks, I think, are just sort of occasional users, maybe once a week or even less. Church services, occasional live streams, that kind of thing that don't happen every day. It's not a tool they're using every day, so it doesn't kick them in the face, doesn't slap them in the face every day to say, hey, you need to fix this. So they eventually get around. What was it? Somebody was having trouble streaming. Yeah, they couldn't stream for like 8 Sundays. 8 Sundays. Number one fix. Number one fix. Do a Windows update. Now let's check here. Actually, we can't do a Windows update because vMix won't let us do a Windows update because that's one of the options that I checked. And I think its default is checked is to disable Windows Update when vMix is running, because you don't want to do an update when vMix is running and have it restart or something crazy like that, or bog down your internet, which here I'm not worried about, but before I could. And you don't want an update happening while you're running vMix, but you do want to run an update. But Windows Update will lie to you. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but Windows Update will lie. And if you go to the Windows Update page, it'll say, we're all up to date. No problems. Sit back, relax. We got it all under control. We got you covered. That's a lie. That's a lie. Because if you click the little button that says update, all of a sudden, oh, it found an update. And in some cases, it found more than one. And in rare cases, it found a bunch. I was dealing with a caller, called me, said, Tom, I need some help. I said, okay, before we can do anything, we've got to update Windows. And they said, what's that? I said, okay, this is going to be a good call. And so we updated Windows. I was on the phone. I was just listening. I didn't remote in or anything like that. This is an unnamed large company. And so I said, okay, I want you to reboot your computer and we'll come back and look again. Oh, no, we got it updated. I said, just trust me on this one. Just, I'm not charging you anything for these 5 minutes. So trust me on this one. So he rebooted and came back, did another update. Oh, there are more updates. I said, yeah. I said, okay, I tell you what, I'm going to let you do this and reboot and check updates again and keep going until there are no more updates. And then you can call me back, because this might take a minute or two. And he said, okay. 30 minutes later, he called me, and it was more than 30 minutes later, because he had done 21 series of update, reboot, update, reboot, update, reboot. 21 times he went through that process before everything was finally updated. And his problem went away. Okay, but that's not my problem here today. Actually, it could be, but I don't think. I think I checked it just the other day. My problem today, number one, is I know the audio is a little tinny, and that's because of the room. Let's see. Do we have a? We've got a desktop capture here. Let's go to the desktop capture. That's the desktop capture. And we are going to go to my mic. And let's just pop that out for a second. And my mic is number 64, the Hollyland. I thought it was a lark. It says Mark. Anyway, let's go into the settings for that. And the settings show, here's the pre-fade and the post-fade. So there's a little bit of latency there. 50 milliseconds of latency, no gain, and the device volume is 100%. That is, whatever the mic is whatever the mic is sending to the receiver is going into the PC. There's no reduction in the volume of that. But I have a plug-in, and this plug-in is the NS1 stereo. Noise suppressor 1 is what it's called, noise suppressor 1. And this is from Waves Audio. And it was really helpful in idiot audio control. So that ought to attract some attention right there. Let's see. You can see right here it's at 0, which means it's doing 0% work. If we take it up to 100, it'll do 100% work. But I want to take it up to 25, and I want you to tell me if my audio improves. Does it cut out any room noise? So we're going to go up to 25, right about there. Is that 25%? That's close enough. And it's taking out something there in the room. Maybe it's taking out an audio sound, um, of, of some sort of feedback that you weren't able to hear, but that it can hear. Hello, Michael Quist. Glad you're here. We're doing some audio testing in the new studio. And I want you guys to tell me if my audio has improved from that hollow sound that Tim identified in the pre-show to right now with 25% of the NS of the noise suppressor NS1. Michael says when you move it back, it sounded differently. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. But he says not in my ear. How if you're not listening to it with your ear, anyway, maybe you've got it real loud and you can feel the tones. Tim says it sounds like it's more hollow. Okay. Well, let's go up to 50%. Let's see if Michael can hear this not in his ear. This is 50% right here. Oh, Michael says it didn't sound better in his ear. Okay, we're here at 50%, and 50% is more hollow. Oh my gosh. So we're tuning out the things that make me sound like me. Well, let's go to 75%. There's 75%. And testing 1, 2, 3. Now this has a noise gate built into it, and it also cuts certain frequencies. Michael says it's more clinic now. Not sure what that means. And let's take it up to 100%. There's 100% of all the noise treatment is being used right there. 100%. Check 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, let's test it by, Michael says it's clean. Oh my gosh, clean like no echo? Have we removed all the echo by doing that? What do you think? Tim, how does it sound? Check one. I guess I have to talk. Check 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Michael says it's too polist. Okay. That's not a word that I'm familiar with, polist, P-O-L-I-S-T. We're going to leave it up there on 100% for just a second and let some other folks kind of register in. I mean, log in, sign up. Polished. It's too polished. Okay. It's got too much processing going on with it. I get you. All right. So let's take it out. Let's take it out altogether. We're going to take it all out. We're just going to take it all the way down to 0. So NS1 is now not doing anything. And let's see. Let's go back into my mic. Tim says he thought it was better at 0. Let's go in. We'll check the noise gate. We've got no noise gate. Check the compressor. We've got no compressor. We're not mixing. What about the EQ? Oh, I've got some EQ on this. And it looks like the lows, I've boosted the lows a little bit and left the mids and the highs kind of where they were. So let me take the EQ off and see if it's better. It's like the old trip to the orthodontist, the eye doctor. Is it better this way? Or he spins the little glass around. Is it better this way? So is it better this way with the EQ? Or is it better this way without the EQ? This is without the EQ, and this is with the EQ. We can drop some of the high frequencies a little bit, and that might help with the hollow sound. And that's with EQ. In fact, let's take just some of these down a little bit. So is it better like this? Or is it better like this? Michael says he prefers the EQ. Now, the EQ is not going to fix the room. There's no doubt about that. the room doesn't get fixed simply because, well, let me get rid of that. The room doesn't get fixed because we mess with the EQ. I mean, we can help a little bit. Some of the hollowness, the higher frequencies I think tend to be a little bit more active like that. I don't know a lot about sound, but I do know that that the higher ones, I think, are the ones that tend to be the ones that bounce the most. But don't don't take my word for it. Tim liked the EQ'd better. Okay, thank you very much. So what I've got plans for, and let's see if I can put my hands on one real quickly. Don't go anywhere, because I'm not. I have got several of these where I have taken an old t-shirt. This is a t-shirt from a festival, the Fairhope Music Festival that my company sponsored several years ago. And I have stapled it onto a wooden frame, a picture frame, I think like 12 inch by 12 inch. Is that about what it is, maybe? And between the frame here in the back and the front, right, this section right here, is fiberglass insulation like you would see in here in the US. If you're building ductwork for the heating and cooling system, you might build it out of a fiberglass board that's coated on both sides with some silver material. But this one's just raw fiberglass. It's covered by the shirt so it doesn't get all scratchy. But it also tends to, I don't know what that was. It also tends to absorb some audio. I think it helps with the higher frequencies. And so I've got this one and I've got two others on that wall. And I think I'll put something on this wall. Maybe I'll do a moving blanket, like the blanket that furniture movers use to make sure that the furniture doesn't get scratched. I had a lot of those at the studio, and they were hanging on, some were hanging from the ceiling, some were hanging on pipe and drape, which is the metal pipes that have the kind of the rack, and then you can hang things from it. Anything to break up the sound waves. Curtains on the walls. Yeah, no curtains in this room, Michael. Carpet on the floor. Yes. Michael wants to hear the bass guitar. We'll work on that one. We'll work on that one. But what I did want to work on a little bit today that I think might help is some lighting. And I've got, again, excuse me, I'll step over here for just a second. And I've got this painter's pole. What do they call this thing? A zip pole. A zip pole. And basically it's sort of a spring-loaded pole that will extend, and I can extend it. Let's see. Let's try that. Whoa, okay. And it's come on, Tom. Did that do it? Right there. Okay, good. It's the kind of thing that, it's been a while since I've used it too. There we go. I'm going to push it all the way up to the ceiling and lock it right there. Well, I think I'm going to lock it right there. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Let's turn it the wrong way. Okay, there we go. So now we've got a pole. Painters use this, and they'll have 5 or 6 of them hanging in a room, and they'll drape plastic off the sides of it so they can kind of build a wall, what they call a zip wall, and then paint inside it or paint outside it or whatever. But it's a great way to put a fixture of some kind in a room that you don't want to leave there forever. So let's bring this down. And I'm going to move this over to here, just outside of the camera view. And we'll put it right there. There we go. Can we see that with the camera? No. Okay. And I am going to take a light fixture, hopefully the one that I have a cable to. And this is just a little barn door light. And actually, let's put it over here because I've got electricity over there. So we'll take our pole and we'll come over here. Great. And I think a cable tie might work. Do I have any zip ties here? Don't have any zip ties, but let's just try a cable tie. See if that's strong enough to hold. Hello, Michael Graves. So let's see if we can get this to dangle from this. Probably not. It's probably going to come crashing down. But it's worth a try, because I'll try anything. All right. That's going to go right there. And that's going to go right there. And it's going to hang there. It is until it isn't. Okay. All right. Now we'll get a cable. Yeah, I know. You're probably thinking I've been working out, but I really haven't. Okay. And let's go there. And then we'll get... Oops, drop the mic. Hold on. Too many moving parts. There's some light. Now we got light. Okay. So we have light. We probably have too much light. And we can see that my shirt has changed color. Think that's a little too much? Let's make sure that the camera is not doing some of that. We're going to go, let's go here for a second, and let's go to cameras. We'll go into the settings for the camera. Color adjust. Yeah, let's take that down some. There we go. That's looking a little better. Okay, and that's pretty close to the color of my camera. I mean, of my shirt. Obviously, we got shadows that we've got to worry about, and it might be a little too much light. Let's see if we can dial that down just a little bit. Doesn't help with the shadows, but another light over here would. And yeah, okay. That made a lot of difference. Recording has stopped unexpectedly. There's not enough space on the disk. Huh. Well, okay. Didn't know that. I need to pay attention to those things. One of the things that I'm uncomfortable with right now, the light is okay. It's a little bright. and so obviously I'm going to squint a little bit because it's a little bright. And it would help by having a diffuser of some kind over it. The other thing that would help me feel more comfortable is if I could see your comments while I'm looking at the camera. Now the camera's a little low. In my way of thinking, the camera should be right about eye level. So the lens and I should be able to look right at each other. Right now I have to look down to the camera a little bit. Most of the time when I see people set this up, I see them set it up where they're looking up at the camera, which I think is kind of an unnatural kind of look. Well, down and up are kind of unnatural, but if you're looking somebody in the eye, chances are you're eyeball to eyeball with them, unless you're sitting and they're standing or something like that. Anyway, I'm sitting. Are you sitting? If we're both sitting, then we ought to be at the same level. The other thing that concerns me is that I have no clue what's going on. I can't see any of this while I'm making contact with you. So I've got to do one of two things. I've either got to move you over here, and there's not really enough depth. I mean, that's the wall right there. So that's 8 inches there. And then maybe another 12, maybe another 24 inches there. So maybe a total of 30 inches between the wall and me. And the camera would sit out from the wall about 5 or 6 inches. I don't know. We'll see if that might be able to work. Or I have to put something behind the camera that I can see and maybe even operate. If it was a vMix full screen, that would be great. I couldn't really operate that. If it was a multi-view, I might be able to operate that. I've done some custom multi-views in the past that, show the output, show the time, if there are different callers that are coming in, and show the different callers. And I would be able to control with a keyboard pretty quickly the switching of that. But so I got to look back at the comments now and see. Let there be light, yes. Oh, it's Andy from sunny Barbados. Welcome. Glad to have you. And there is light. Turn the table 90 degrees. That's the way the original studio was. This table was sitting right here. Boom. And the camera was on a tripod right there. Actually, I think the original may have just been a webcam on a little arm of some kind. But eventually we ended up using a PTZ camera there. And frankly, that's one of the things I wanted to try to avoid, because this is the office, not the studio. And I want to be able to do as much office things as I can. And so there was that tension between making it look like a studio and making it and having it work like an office. And I know a lot of folks have had the same problems. Sunglasses, yes, I've been in and out all day. So that put the display under the camera, could do that. Currently, do I have a way? Let me see if I can pop up a quick vMix call. Yeah, there we go. Hold on. Let me make a call to vMix call, and that way it can be a second camera for you guys. So we're going to go to vMix call.com. vMixcall.com could not be found. I spelled it wrong. We'll try again. vMixcall. I had too many I's. vMixcall.com. There we go. And the name is Tom. And the password is... I wish vMix Call would figure out a way in their website for the caller to make the keyboard come up like a just numbers only keyboard, because the password is always numbers only. 56 58. Join the call. Allow to use the pass. Whew. Have to work on that. Let's see. Let's turn that audio off. Sorry about that. Caller, which one was it? It was this one right here. And we're going to mute that one. So let's try to connect again. Tom. And then the password was, what was the password? Bear with me. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. Is that better? Yes. We were getting into a feedback loop here. All right. So this is not advanced vmixcall.com, so I don't think I have the ability to change the camera, but that is currently what the camera setup looks like. So you can see the PTZ Optics cam, and that blue thing underneath it is a half a ream of paper, and it's sitting on top of a printer. Oh my gosh. And behind it on the wall is a TV stand that I hope to make use of. And I can get the camera a little bit higher so that it almost sits in front of the TV, so I can look at the TV and appear to be looking at the camera at the same time. Not sure how the telestrator would help me, Michael. Oh, the telestrator would just give me the, I got you. You're talking about right now. Got it. You can see the other two fiberglass, the t-shirts that are covering the fiberglass boards right up there. And you can see the light attached to the ceiling. That's just very quickly. Obviously, ceiling fan I've got to get rid of, and don't want to do lights from the ceiling fan. There's the TV that's going to go on the wall. So obviously, this is very much a work in progress. And yeah, lots of things that need to find home, like a biology book. Anybody need a biology book? Apparently, I need one because I have it right there. But regardless, okay, we'll close that call. But that was a quick and dirty camera that allowed me to do what I needed to with you guys there. The telestrator would work as a confidence monitor. Yeah. I probably wouldn't use that because I'd like to have something behind the screen, behind the camera, and it would be easier to send an HDMI signal to the TV than it would be to do a web browser on the TV to an IP address. I like to, to do things, kind of set it and forget it. So yeah, there we go. So we've got audio work to do, we've got lighting work to do, we've got video work to do. Heck, we've got just about every kind of work to do. Probably don't want to have the bass guitar as part of the set. Probably don't want to have a shower chair for invalids as part of the set. That was what I used when I had my knee operation. Michael Graves uses his NDI camera on his phone for such ad hoc mobile camera shots, keeping it local on the network. And that's a good idea. Probably easier than a vMix call. And it's one-way video, so you don't have to worry about the audio feedback. Anyway. Well, what else am I going to face? I've got to do something with some wall coverings. I think I'm going to do a lot of creative displays. Maybe I can hang the guitar on the wall. Maybe I can hang the biology book on the wall. Anything to kind of break up the pattern of the sound, although probably not the biology book, and maybe not even the bass guitar, because they're flat surfaces. I really need something that's got a irregular surface to it. Cardboard works pretty well. I've got cardboard here in front of this window that I was worried about. Can I show you the window? I bet I could. Can I reconnect here? 472. There we go. Let's go to advanced vMix call. There we go. I don't have the NDI app. I could, but I don't at the moment. 472-007. Okay, allow. And let's switch. Front camera, back camera. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, so let's switch over to the back camera. That is the back camera. That is the window with the shelf in front of it. That's the cardboard right there. And then monitors, PC, network, keyboard, mouse, glasses, lemonade, needle nose pliers. That's all you need to make it work. Michael Quist says even a Raspberry Pi. Interesting. The cool thing with Telestrator is that it's Ethernet network based instead of a very long HDMI cable using an output. Well, that's true. Have to think that one through a little bit. Michael Graves thinks the NDI camera costs a few bucks. Well, let's find out. Let's put this away for a second. And let's do a screen capture. Well, actually, let's add a screen capture. And we're going to add a display. Oh, let's add Google Chrome. That's better. There we go. And we'll sharpen it. And then we'll add it to NDI camera. Whoops. Then we're going to get all the NDI cameras. Let's see. What about NDI camera app? Easy streaming camera. Download now. Android, iOS. Okay. Well, let's get to that site on my phone. And I wish I could mirror my phone to you. But we're going to go to ndi-tools/NDI-camera. Let's see. There we go. Download the iOS app. Okay, there we go. Michael Graves, you were right. 1995. $19.95. Might have to try that. Might have to try that. Could be a good, quick and dirty studio camera. Although the Wi-Fi on this side of the house is a little suspect because the router's on the other side. But I've got Ethernet coming out of the wall here. Oh, excuse me, I could just set up an access point here. But then the price starts going up. Access point, unless I've got an access point. I may have an access point around here somewhere. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Welcome to BD Nederland. Greetings from the Netherlands. Shame you could not keep the old studio. Anyway, a new studio project to build. Well, that's a fact, Jack. That is a fact. Michael Quist, again, making a big play for Raspberry Pi. Can actually run two 4K screens, has Wi-Fi and Ethernet. Yes, indeedy. Should get you up and running in less than an hour with help from ChatGPT too. I've always wanted to do the Raspberry Pi because I want to do the OMT transport. I mean, the OMT, video to OMT adapter thingy. Haven't gotten there yet. Free app to mirror your phone via NDI is Layer Mapper. Thank you, Tim. And Michael Graves has a spare Unify AP he can send me. Thank you. Hold off on that, but I may take you up on it. Let's just see how we decide to make that work. The real bottom line is I can't imagine really using this much. Not to the point of paying $20 for it, not to the point of doing an access point. Probably not to the point of doing a Raspberry Pi for however much a Raspberry Pi costs. I'm lazy and cheap. And yeah, but we'll see. I really, at this point, I want to concentrate on lighting, sound, and visuals. So we'll have to see. What can we do? This place is a wreck. Got to clean it up. That's what I got to do. But, ooh, excuse me. I've got 18 computers I've got to build. PI used to be cheap, but not anymore. Well, they're not cheap, as cheap as they were because they're more powerful and they can do more. I looked into the Pi's, I guess it was before Christmas, thinking it might be a good holiday project. And I just never could pull the trigger. But to get what I wanted in a Raspberry Pi that included a video capture device was going to be somewhere between $150 and $200. And that's, that becomes one of those NDI, bird dog NDI capture devices at that point. But still, it'd be fun to play with it. Yep. Pi 3 was $35. Yeah, and I was looking at the Pi 5 plus, plus all the other goodies. I mean, that's the thing. When you get into something like that, and you start out and you say, "Oh, well, that's good, but golly, if I added this, it would be better." I mean, it's the thing that we in the streaming world, we're kind of tinkerers, we're kind of photographers, we're kind of audio geeks. There's always a piece of gear that would make life easier, better, faster, smoother, taller, and sometimes it's hard to stop. And in fact, what I've found that I'm doing with a lot of clients these days is they'll come to me with a whole set of needs, and I kind of push back a little bit sometimes on some of those needs because those are things they've just read or somebody has told them. They're not things that they have bumped into that they've bumped their heads against the ceiling and have found out, I need to be able to do this. They just thought it might be cool if they could do that. And, we end up saving, 25, 30% on a system by not putting in those things that they probably really won't ever get to. I suspect half the systems that I build are overbuilt for the client's need, just because they anticipate a future need. And what was it? I had a PC come back in for repair the other day, from 2017. And, half of me wanted to say, "Hey, look, just scrap this thing. It's it's 9 years old." And the other half said, "Hey, it's just got a broken, I think it was a video card or something was not working." And I said, "We can fix this for however much money it would cost to fix it. And you're back in business and you're right where you were. And you don't have to, go through the painful process of taking everything off of an old PC and putting it on a new PC and, finding all the things, it's like moving into a new school and finding out where your classroom is and where the bathrooms are and all that kind of stuff." And I think I think the shelf life of some of these streaming PCs, assuming that there are just no terrible radical changes in the streaming world, I think the shelf life of a streaming PC could be 10 or 12 years. And that's assuming, that it's HD. I talked to somebody the other day that we had set up a system for them, I guess maybe 6 years ago, that they wanted standard definition. That's what they wanted, and they wanted to upgrade. And that didn't require just a video card. I mean, that would have been required. Well, it was a whole new system because standard definition, HD is just so much more data. In the same way, 4K is so much more data. But yeah. One last thing I'll leave you with that I thought was really interesting. This was probably last week. Oh no, it was in the vMix Fun Time live show last Tuesday or Wednesday, last Tuesday, that they announced, if you didn't see it, they announced that they've changed their Topaz reference system. Topaz was the highest reference system before you went to the Xeon chip. and it used an i9 and gave you, I think, eight HD cameras, or 3 4K cameras or something like that. And they have tested the new chip, the new CPU from Intel, that is i7. But the current i7s are 20 cores, but this was an i7 with 24 cores, and they said it is fast enough to be able to handle 8 HD cameras. And that's pretty cool, because that's about a 40% savings on the CPU right there. Unfortunately, they haven't found a system that'll run on less RAM, because RAM is the price mover right now. Anyway, I'm rambling. Michael Graves says there was a time when his i7 4790 was state of the art. And Michael Quist said, anybody see the latest vMix show? They downgraded the system from i9 to 7. That's right. Michael Graves, I have at my church a system that I built way back when that is still live streaming today, based on an Intel i7. I think it was a 2600K CPU. i7 2600K. It was either 2600 or 2700, but I think it was a 2600. Screaming chip. It was a great chip, and today it streams 1080p 60, one camera, one audio source, occasionally some video or lower thirds. I've stepped away from that at the church. If you've ever been involved in a church, if you volunteer for something like that, the only two ways to get out of it are to die or to move to a different church. But I was able to convince them that they needed to let me out of that room and let me be a regular person again. They said they would, and they'd find somebody to do it, and they did. But that system's still running strong. That's probably 10 years old. In fact, I think I used it in this show a long time ago. I'll have to check and see. That'd be interesting to find out. Well, gentlemen, ladies, if you're there, I appreciate your patronage today. And we'll be off next week, taking the grandkids, or two of the grandsons, the 16-year-old and the 12-year-old, to Cape Canaveral, hoping to catch a launch of one of Elon Musk's rockets, and then to St. Augustine, Florida, to a alligator farm, and some other adventures in between. So it's going to be fun. But I appreciate y'all tuning in and hanging out with me today. And Dave, sorry you arrived just at the end. But don't turn in next week. Tune in 2 weeks, and I'll be back and have a show, and maybe some changes to the studio. We'll see. So let me gear up the outro. We do have an outro. Yeah, let's see. Let's make our outro this. There we go. That's what we wanted. And let's hold on 1 second. I need to check something on this. Yeah, set the volume to 100%. We don't want 100%. We want 75%. It's a trigger that plays volume on plays audio on the poster that we have. Let's see, what's the poster? This is.
We're the streaming idiots, having the time With Tom Sinclair guiding, we're feeling so fine.
That has the music playing with it. So sit tight, listen to the music. It's a cool little song. AI wrote it. And we will catch you later.
We're the streaming idiots, having the time. With Tom Sinclair guiding, we're feeling so fine. A vMix on the screen, we're ready to play. A custom built PCs, taking tech to the fray. Making live production feel like a breeze. Got the rhythm pumping, we do it with ease. From setups to transitions, we're flying high. In the world of streaming, we're touching the sky. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream. With tech support in the mix, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's the man, Tom Sinclair's the man, bringing us live in our v's adventure. The future is bright. Lights, camera, action, the stage is set. From podcasts to webinars, we're never upset. Tech at our fingertips, the power's so real. Loading up the content, let the viewers feel. Building connections, we're breaking the mold. Every frame a story, every tale told. In this vibrant world, we're living with flair. Streaming idiots unite, let's take it from there. Streaming idiots, streaming idiots. We're living the dream, living the dream. We take support in the mix. Oh, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's the man, Tom Sinclair's the man, bringing us live in our vMix adventure. The future is bright. We got tips and tricks all wrapped in a show. And our extra fun, let the good times flow. From sports to the arts, we're taking the lead. With vMix by our side, there's nothing we need. Troubleshooting smoothly, no hassle or fuss. In the world of tech, we're igniting the buzz. Streaming idiots, we're living the dream. With some support in the mix, we're a winning team. Tom Sinclair's the man, Tom Sinclair's the man, bringing us live in our favorite adventure. The future is bright. So here's to the journey. Let's raise a toast for Tom Sinclair and the team we love most. Streaming idiots, forever we're ruling the scene. With vMix and support, here living the dream. We're the streaming idiots, having the time. With Tom Sinclair guiding, we're feeling so fine.